Good evening and a very warm welcome here to Orient Live. The O's are looking to put last Friday's FA Cup disappointment behind them tonight as we play a team who viewers might remember from the Premier League just a couple of seasons ago. It's Jack Wilshere's Luton Town who are here in E10 this evening. And I'm here in the studio with Brendan Pitcher and Andrew Butler. It's got the old gang back together, and how are we, lads? It feels like a big one, and I know we won our last league game, but with Friday it feels a bit flat.
Yeah, it's been that kind of season, hasn't it? It's been full of ups and downs, and we seem like there's been so many moments where it feels like this team's clicked now and will go on a run, and this is the Richie Wellens Orient that we know they can play like. And we've seen bumps in the road, and I think it's important that we've always kind of put in an improved performance after those games. I think looking back at the Wycombe game recently, it was that kind of similar level of performance last Friday, similar result, but then after that we went on a good run still. So I think expecting and hoping for an improved performance today. You
look at the last two and it's completely contrasting. You've got the 4-0 win away to Burton and then 4-0 on the road to League 2 Salford. It's just, it makes it really hard to talk about, to come in and talk about the games.
It's also really hard to kind of analyse what's going wrong and also what's going right. I think that we have to bear in mind that obviously today's game is at least a league game, and our last league fixture was, you're right, the aforementioned 4-0 away win at Burton, which was an excellent performance. But then since then we've had the 1-0 loss against Plymouth in the last minute in the trophy, which was just a fairly flat performance. We went away from the game feeling like, there was just nothing really to that game much. And then Friday's was I mean, it's not too harsh to say it was a shocker. I mean, you only need to see Richie Wellens' comments after the game to know that it was by far and away one of our worst performances that we've seen in a long time. So it is interesting to kind of come into this game, because at the same time Luton come into the game having lost to Fleetwood in the FA Cup, albeit on penalties, but still you're losing to a fairly unfancied team as well, and they'll be thinking, you're right, it was only a couple of years ago that we were in Premier League and now they're getting dumped out of the FA Cup in the second round to a team like Fleetwood. So it's going to be an interesting game today. I think both teams probably come here with something to prove.
Parachute payments, a lot of money spent on players that were playing in the Premier League. It is a tough one on paper when we look at Luton tonight.
Yeah, and I think they're a team similar to us in that I think there's been probably quite a few times this season where they've picked up a result, and in the back of my mind I thought, this is Luton clicking now, they'll go on a run, because like you said, they've got the parachute payments, they've got a squad of players that are expensively assembled, they're really good players for the level, and it just hasn't quite clicked yet. And I think they started the season with Matt Bloomfield, who got them relegated last season, and he did so well at Wycombe, but he couldn't quite kind of turn it round at Luton, and they struggled really, and the fans kind of went against him. So they've gone for kind of a very interesting appointment in Jack Wilshere, who is his first proper managerial role. He did a bit at the back end of last season with Norwich, but he's kind of that typical youth coach coming through in terms of he'll look to play nice Arsenal, kind of under Arsene Wenger kind of brand of football, where they'll keep it on the deck and they'll develop young talent. So since he's been in, they haven't quite properly clicked yet, but there's been moments. They've picked up some good results here and there, but also, like Andrew alluded to, they've put in performances like last weekend against Fleetwood in the FA Cup. So it's a tough test, but it's another game where between kind of two teams that probably neither of them have hit their real stride and have done what they're capable of this season.
Well, we will come on to the teams very shortly and take a deeper look into what both sides are going to be offering this evening. But first, let's hear from the gaffer, Richie Wellens.
Gaffer, real disappointment on Friday night in the FA Cup, but back to the league. How do we go about bouncing back?
Well, we've had a couple of bad defeats this season before, and we've bounced back. So I think he's getting a balance right. Listen, the players didn't mean to turn up and perform like that. We spoke to him this morning, and I think it was more shock that the fact that performance came out of nowhere. The last 4 or 5 weeks we've been really, really good. And listen, sometimes you haven't been as good on the ball or whatever that might be, but just the general intensity, the lack of enthusiasm, the lack to play forward. Salford fully deserved their win. We never arrived at their box enough. We couldn't stop their counter attacks. So Yeah, I think the players have been quite honest. I asked them to watch the game back themselves and come back with an honest assessment of what they saw, and they've been really good. They've been really honest and open. So hopefully we'll get back on the bike, so to speak, because we have been good in the league. We're playing against an opponent that in terms of squad size and squad quality is up there with the best in the league. So yeah, I mean, listen, I wanted to do well in both cups. But the way that the fixtures turned out made it difficult for us in the Virtue, and the FA Cup was big for us financially, but we're in an alright position in the league. From everything that has gone, from the summer to where we are now, we are not in a bad position. I don't want this result to try to deflect or cloud over where we are. We're 4 points off the playoffs, albeit so we've played probably one game more than some, and we've got a lot of games to play, and I want it to be a real mindset just going forward now, because I know it's an old cliche, concentrate, but there's nothing we can do about it. It was a horrific, it's the worst we've played in my 4 years here, by an absolute mile. We had one game away at Shrewsbury where we was similar, but that was a League One game. This was against League Two opposition, and it was a shocker. It was an absolute shocker. But I've lost in it as a manager. We lost when I was at Swindon. We lost we lost at home to Woking, which was an absolute shocker as well. But we went on to win the league that year. So my message to the supporters is apology. I think a lot of you seen my interview on TNT. I wasn't happy, and like I said to Dave after the game, I've always go over and clap our supporters, but I needed time to breathe. So the players know. I think the players will respond in the right way. We've got good characters. So like I say, if you rewind August, end of July, August, we're not in a bad position. So let's take the positives now and just try and move forward.
An honest assessment there from Richie, and now let's take a look and see the starting lineup that he's opted for to try and bounce back from that Friday fixture. Starting in goal for the O's is 33, it's Killian Cahill. Across the back line, it's Michael Craig and Teo Adaramola in the fullback positions, with Daniel Happy alongside the captain Omar Beckles. It's a midfield two of Tyreek Bakinson and Azim Abdullah tonight, with the three more attacking midfielders of Josh Koroma, Charlie Wellens and Ollie O'Neill playing ahead of them. And leading the line is Dom Ballard. And on the bench is Tommy Simpkin, Jack Simpson, Jack Morehouse, Theodore Archibald, Sean Clare, Zach Obiero and Alfie Lloyd. So there's not too many changes that aren't beyond, Andrew, I think, enforced ones, really.
Yeah, well, the big one is Connolly. Connolly misses out. He's injured. We're not sure how long for, but I mean, it's a massive blow. It's going to be a massive blow to any team as well. In fact, this game can probably be told in the fact that Connolly misses out and Luton have Josh Keeley in goal. Josh Keeley's kept the most amount of clean sheets in the league with 8 this season. Aaron Connolly's had the most shots and most shots on target, and is the second leading scorer as well in the league as well. He's also played the most minutes for us. So that's a huge miss, and that's not going to be easy to replace. Not quite irreplaceable, because most players, you end up having someone that comes into form, and you kind of have to kick on from there. That's a huge blow to see him missing out this evening. Having said that, Ollie O'Neill comes out onto the left wing. When we first signed him from Fulham, that blistering opening form that we saw from him, if he was playing out on the left hand side, I think that's his favourite position. Being able to cut in from the left and curl them in from the right hand with his right peg is always useful. So hopefully he can do that, and then Koroma coming back in it's weaker because we don't have Connolly in the team, but it's not a weak team by any stretch of the imagination.
And those wide areas are going to be key, especially tonight, more so than ever with the way Luton shape up.
Yeah, I think Luton, we're expecting them to play a back three. They've played a back three all throughout the season pretty much, under Matt Bloomfield and under Jack Wilshere. It would be a surprise if they changed it, but they have moved to their right wing back, who is normally a Dauphin, who is Dauphin's kind of your straightforward up and down wing back, very good defensively but not so good going forward. He's missing out today, and Gideon Kadoa is who we expect to play in that wing back role, and he's very much more of a winger. So I don't know whether that's a statement of intent from Jack Wilshere in terms of whether he sees that kind of right side as key, but it's going to be a test in terms of Teo out there making his return to the team, and he's been another one of those players that has kind of summed up our season. I've seen games where he's been really, really good, and he's looked like one of the better players on the pitch, and it seems like it's all there for him in terms of physically, he's brilliant, he's so strong and quick, and he's good in the tackle, but then sometimes there's just moments where he loses concentration and it can cost us. So if he can just cut that out, I think he could be a brilliant option for us going forward, but it's just about cutting out those lapses, and that'll be key tonight because he's up against a really exciting player in Kadoa for Luton.
And in terms of that defensive matchup as a whole kind of unit, really, every play, we've got to find some consistency defensively because, yeah, we kept a clean sheet in our last league match, but it was another 4 goals conceded against Salford, and that's happened a couple of times this season, and it's uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I mean, we've built a lot of our success in recent years with a really solid defence, and I mean, I think back to the seasons where we got promoted from League Two and the amount of clean sheets we kept that season, and just looking really comfortable, and also looking comfortable winning games by just a single goal as well. Whereas this season has been almost the polar opposite. It's been exciting and fun to see us be the top scorers in the league, but then at the same time we've got the worst defence in the league, and it's, you know, you look at it on paper and go, oh, it must be really entertaining to watch. It's not entertaining to watch when you're not sure if you're going to be winning the game and you're 2 goals to the good. So we have to cut out the mistakes. You know, there's something about it that just doesn't seem as strong or as kind of fearsome as it has been. It might just be the turnover of losing probably 3 of the back 5 if you include the goalkeeper from last season. These things do take a little bit of time to click into gear, but it'll be a great opportunity considering Luton actually haven't been firing all that well. 21 goals scored so far this season in their 18 games. I think it's, you know, they're not like as attacking as us, or haven't provided as much of a goal threat. So hopefully we can keep them at bay.
What do we make of the midfield too then? Azim Abdullah and Tyreek Bakinson haven't played a hell of a lot of football together, but they're 2 big, exciting players. It's an interesting one to see how this one goes this evening.
Yeah, I think the 3 of us were speaking before or we came on air saying if you're a Luton player in that tunnel and you look at Azim and Tyreek lined up against them, you'd be fearful because they're big lads and they're strong, and also they've got the technical ability, both of them. And I think it's just about putting it all together now because they're clearly talented, but neither of them have quite had a consistent run of games in this Orient team. Abdullah especially, I think, has been kind of shifted around, and we've tried to put him into positions that maybe aren't his favourite, and now he's getting that run in that number 8 position, which he has said is his preferred position. That's where he's played most of his career prior to joining Orient, and I think he's had especially against Burton, I thought he was really, really good there, and he's showing that kind of tenacity and attitude to win tackles and put his foot in and track back, and that's all the things that perhaps I didn't associate with his side of the game when I'd seen him perhaps playing on the wing or in that number 10 role. But it seems like having that bit of extra responsibility in terms of being a number 8, it suits him, and we've all seen when he can turn it on and he shows that level of technical ability. We only have to go back to that game, that Exeter game where he scored 4 goals. He's got it all, really. It's all there for him. It just needs to click a little bit. So, yeah, excited to see how those 2 go tonight. Let's
talk about goals then. And with our top scorer, Aaron Connolly, out, all eyes turn to Don Ballard. He's obviously linked up so well with Aaron, but he's maybe got to do it a bit more by himself now.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, you've still got the quality, haven't you? Behind him is going to be Ollie O'Neill, Josh Koroma, Charlie Wellings, all players who've got assists to their name already this season, and a number of them as well. The good thing about Ballard is that he obviously gets in such good positions. It's like, in that classic striker fashion, just getting in, you know, the places where no one else is going to be. He's also got incredible technical ability. That goal against Cardiff was one of my favourites of the season. He pounces on these sort of chances. That was a defensive error. I think we'll see another defensive error here coming up as well, where he just gets in that position. The keeper's obviously going to be fuming at this because 2 defenders have let it go through, but Ballard's got to be there. And then it's the poacher's instinct there. Of course, that cross comes in from Connolly, but that doesn't mean to say that we don't have the quality out there with the likes of Ollie and Josh. So yeah, there's a bit more probably pressure on Ballard's shoulders, but he's had a really solid start, and I think the fear is getting someone in like Ballard is if he only had 2 or 3 goals to his name at this early stage of his Orient career, you might be thinking, well, will he be able to do it? But the fact of the matter is he's got like double that, over double that in fact. So he hopefully will just carry on, keep turning it on.
Oh, hopefully Dom can provide some more goals for the O's tonight. Let's hear his thoughts right now.
Yeah, obviously the last couple of results have been really disappointing, but if we go back to the league, in the last game being Burton, we played really well, probably one of our best performances this season. So yeah, if we can push on from that, and I think we're doing all right in the last few games in the league as well. So not just that game, but I think we're building some momentum, so hopefully we can get back on board with that. Burton went so well because we performed it with high intensity, which is ultimately what the gaffers wanted for the last few weeks. And like, we've been missing a bit of luck at times, but you've got to earn that in football, and I think how hard the boys worked and we were all as a unit that day, I think that was why things started dropping for us, and obviously 4 really good quality goals.
Is lunch at work awesome? If
So I did it with high intensity, which is ultimately what the gaffers wanted for the last few weeks. And like, we've been missing a bit of luck at times, but you've got to earn that in football, and I think how hard the boys worked and we were all as a unit that day, I think that was why things started dropping for us, and obviously 4 really good quality goals, and to have a clean sheet was really important. I don't even think they had a shot on target that game, so yeah, just all team round intensity and stuff, it was just really good. The goal was just when Azza gets the ball, I always expect him to beat his man, so just made movement across my man, and it was a nice glance finish, so I was quite happy with it. Nice striker's goal. To be fair, I like heading. Considering I'm so little, I quite enjoy it. But yeah, I don't think defenders really expect me to like put my head in. So yeah, it's always nice to have a variety of goals. Yeah, obviously after the last couple of results haven't been great in the cups. I think ultimately to get back to where we wanted to get back to with Burton, it's the intensity, not necessarily the ability, because we know the team's got like loads of that. So it's more just the intensity and making sure we drive ourselves and not rely on the coaches to do that as well, like make sure we drive ourselves. So yeah, just bring that intensity back, working hard and winning our duels.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the US, giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
You have a choice. You can waste 20, maybe 30% of your media budget, spend millions reaching bots, the wrong people, or no one at all. Or just use 0 to 1. It knows who's ready to buy. It's over 85% accurate. 0 wasted spend. The future of marketing isn't guessing. It's knowing.
Now, not long to go until kick-off, so just a reminder to any of you watching along live on our YouTube stream, then tonight's match is available to watch along with us here on Orient Live, with a match pass from just £10 that you can pick up on over at the Match Centre on the Orient website, and UK fans, you can listen along with an audio pass. And now, before we go any further, let's hear from Terry Howard.
Terry, disappointment in the cup in the last couple of games, but in the league it feels like prior to the cup games we were just starting to click into gear.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just got to write that one off now. Friday, it was an awful performance. It's all about how you bounce back, and you say our league form's not bad at the moment.
What kinds of things do you think would have been said amongst the players since the weekend?
Well, a little bit soul searching. I mean, listen, in some ways, let's try and turn it into positive. It's given us a little bit of a kick up our backside, and anyone who thought they've done enough, they'll think again, and you always have to work hard. The first thing you have to do in every game is work hard, and so tonight, get back to basics. First thing we do is work Luton hard.
You kind of touched on it there, but Don Ballard said when we spoke to him yesterday, it's all about intensity and high intensity. Is that when we're at our best, when we are playing with that real tempo?
Of course, I've said it on here many times about how we start a game with that intensity, that passion, that desire. And tonight against, one of the biggest sides in the division, Luton, it's a good opportunity for us to sort of measure ourselves against one of the best.
And in Luton, they're in and around it as well. 2 years ago, they were obviously in the Premier League, so haven't had a great couple of years. So if we can get a positive result tonight, how much do you think that would do for the belief of the squad and the fans and everyone?
It'll be massive, as I say, just after Friday, if you can bounce back with a performance, it soon gets forgotten. As I say, you have to, in life, in football, you're going to get disappointments, and as I say, you have to get on with it. And as I say, I think it's a great opportunity tonight for us to get back on track.
Right, we're going to take a look at the Luton team very, very shortly, but don't forget, fans, wherever you're watching from, Christmas is edging close. If you didn't know that, then where have you been, really? And of course, the Superstore is the place to go to make sure you're ready for that festive season, whether you're after gifts for loved ones or just some house decorations. The Superstore has it all. You can head in-store on Oliver Road or onto the online store, and the guaranteed Christmas delivery date for fans in the UK is Monday the 15th of December, so don't hang around. Now then, let's turn our attention back to the football and let's take a look and see how the Hatters are lining up this evening. Starting in goal for Luton, it's a familiar face, it's Josh Keeley. In the back three, we believe it for them, is Cal Naismith, the captain, alongside Nigel Sello-Longvike and Tedham Mengi. In the wing-back positions is Cohen Bramall and Gideon Kuda, with George Saville and Liam Walsh in the heart of midfield. Lamine Fanny and Jacob Brown played just behind Jerry Yates. And on the bench for Jack Wilshere's boys is James Shee, Mads Joel Anderson, Christ Masoko, Zach Nelson, Jordan Clark, Shaden Morris and Lassie Selvagnordas. So, we've spoken about them a little bit already, but what do you make of Wilshere's side there, Andrew?
I mean, I completely agree with Brendan that that change of having Gideon Kudoa come in instead of Adolfin is a big one. We expect them to kind of probably go much more attacking. They've had a strange run of form in so much as almost mirrors ours, in that ours has gone like in the last 6 games, loss, win, draw, win, loss, and then Luton's has gone loss, win, draw, win, loss, draw. Right, so it's been a mixed bag, and their form in the league has also been a little bit shaky, but they're going to be probably very confident coming into this game. They had a good win against Huddersfield a couple of weeks ago, draw against Bolton. We've said it already a couple of times, they're a fairly expensively assembled team and squad. Jack Wilshere is a high possession manager. That's going to be probably an interesting one to look out for. And I know that possession doesn't necessarily mean goals or mean wins or anything like that. But since he's come in, Luton average about 59% possession. Our average this season has been about 54%. By that we mean both teams kind of want the ball, and so it'll be interesting to see who's going to effectively cede control of that game and just let the other team have it. So it's going to be an interesting one. There's a couple of players to look out for. Jerry Yates as well up top. He's been in the goals so far this season, and Kodua, as we mentioned, on the right hand side, he's playing right wing back, but he's got 4 goals and 3 assists for them so far this season. So yeah, they're going to be it's going to be a tricky one for us.
And the sense I'm getting is that you both think there may be a team that can be got at.
Yeah, definitely. I think at the start of the season they would have been my favourites for promotion, but they flattered to deceive so far. Like Andrew said, they've had moments, especially under Wilshere recently, like the win against Huddersfield, but they're inconsistent like us, and they've also got a few injuries. So I think they're not this undefeatable parachute payment team that's going to be a real tough test for us today in terms of we can't match them. I think on paper we're probably about level in form-wise, and with the 11s we've got out, we've got as many kind of good technical footballers as they do. So I think it's about playing our game and not kind of getting too het up in what Luton are, the former Premier League team with parachute payments, with players on big money, because I think that, like we said, they're there to be got at, and we shouldn't fear them today.
We're seeing here, Andrew, that they are a team that can concede goals. I mean, every team in the division can concede goals, of course, but looking at this, how do you think we can bring that intensity and bring this game to
It's so funny. I was ahead of the game, I was just looking at how they play and what they've been doing so far this season. They've actually conceded the third fewest shots on target so far this season in the entire league. But then at the same time, their save percentage, i.e. the shots that do go on target, they're the third worst as well. They've only got a 60% save percentage, which is quite surprising then that Josh Keeley's kept the most clean sheets in the league. Of late, they have been conceding goals. They conceded 5 against Barnsley before that win against Huddersfield. So they've been kind of really up and down, and this one could basically go either way.
It's an interesting one to call, Brendan. Teams are making their way out onto the pitch. Are you confident? As we started the show by saying, you have no idea how to call an Orient game at the moment.
Yeah, I guess what we can say is we have put in these improved performances after the complete kind of disaster performances. So hopefully that trend continues today, and we put in a strong performance, and that's enough to get the result.
You're confident of the win, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, short and sweet, to the point. Very nice. Well, then we've got some very capable hands to leave you and to tell you about the action for this one. Dave Victor, Matt Hiscock, it's over to you.
In their last league game, and Leyton Orient forced to make changes, not least Matt Hiscock, because of the absence of Aaron Connolly.
Yeah, without doubt that's a huge blow for the O's, and obviously concerning news around that may not be a short-term injury. I'm sure Richie Wellens will speak after the game, but of course the focus now is about the starting 11. What is a big night, and whilst there's a lot of doom and gloom around the O's after Friday night's humiliating defeat, a win tonight for the O's will put them a point behind Bolton Wanderers in 7th position.
It is quite tight, isn't it? I think it's fair to say, in the division at the moment. Luton a point off the playoffs, but they're only 3 points ahead of Leyton Orient, who it's fair to say have played more games than other teams.
Yeah, they have, and you look at Luton as an opposition, a little bit stop-start with Jack Wilshere, if truth be told. Of course, Matt Bloomfield given his marching orders on the 6th of October, and since then Wilshere with a couple of decent results, probably the most notable a recent 2-1 victory at home against Huddersfield, but there's also been a thumping defeat in there as well, a 5-0 defeat away at Barnsley, and of course humiliation for them exiting the FA Cup on Saturday. He did make changes, he did take liberties, and unfortunately for Jack Wilshere, he got punished. Luton exit after losing to Fleetwood on penalties.
He does have such a large squad, doesn't he, of course.